Okay, our first speaker for this session is Angelo Manassero. He's going to be speaking on logic-based therapy in business, overcoming anxiety, depression, and burnout in private sector employees. Angelo Manassero is a seasoned business strategist, corporate philosopher, and logic-based therapy consultant with over 20 years of international experience. His expertise lies in generating philosophy and critical thinking into corporate strategy, negotiation, and decision-making to promote innovative and sustainable growth. He combines Stoic principles, positive psychology, and mindfulness to foster ethical leadership and emotional well-being. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you Angelo Manassero.
Thank you, Elliot. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm going to put up a presentation, if I can find it. Okay. Not the one I want. This is the one I want. Okay, thank you. So I just may start.
Yes.
Okay. That's a starting. Okay, logic-based group therapy in business, overcoming anxiety, burnout, and depression in private sector employees. Workplace mental health significantly impacts both employee well-being and business performance. Globally, 50% of the workplace faces mental health disorders, costing 12 billion workdays and potentially 1 trillion in productivity losses by 2030. While in the US, 83% of workers report work-related stress, with 25% citing their jobs as a primary stressor. Unmanaged stress can lead to serious physical and psychological issues such as heart disease, anxiety, and burnout. Burnout, marked by emotional exhaustion and reduced engagement, often results from excessive demand and poor management practices. Group therapy has proven effective in addressing these challenges. Research shows that structured group intervention can reduce high emotional exhaustion from 83.3 to 64.6% and lower depressive emotional symptoms from 60.4 to 37.6%, fostering resilience and collective problem solving. Logic-based group therapy builds on the success by using a structured six-step framework to transform self-defeating thought patterns into actionable strategies. By identifying irrational beliefs and promoting shared values, LBGT not only reduces stress but also strengthens workplace culture, empowering employees to thrive both personally and professionally. This article explores how LBGT can be implemented to enhance productivity and nurture a culture of well-being. Logic-based therapy is a structured, philosophy-driven approach to workplace mental health that builds briefly on the principles of REBT by challenging irrational beliefs. LBGT goes further by integrating a philosophical dimension that draws on uplifting philosophies and guiding virtues, such as courage, authenticity, and metaphysical security. This integration not only addresses cognitive and emotional patterns, but also inspires individuals to cultivate these virtues as a means to overcome stress. A cornerstone of LBGT is its focus on emotional reasoning, the way individuals interpret experiences through self-defeating beliefs. This pattern can lead to increased stress, burnout, and depression. For instance, a manager overwhelmed by perfectionism might irrationally conclude, if I make a mistake, I am a failure, leading to undue stress and reduced productivity. In group settings, LBGT encourages
Your slides
participants
don't
to
go.
collaboratively identify and challenge these negative thoughts patterns by reframing their interpretation and adopting guiding virtues. Individuals transform workplace stressors into opportunities for personal growth and collective resilience. This dual focus on logical analysis and philosophical insights provides a holistic framework for both reducing mental health challenges and fostering a supportive, thriving work environment. Logic-based group therapy framework for addressing work mental health challenges. Developed by Elliot Cohen, the logic-based group therapy framework provides a robust foundation for addressing workplace anxiety, burnout, and depression. Originally designed to combat compassion fatigue in human service workers, its structured six-step approach and philosophical underpinnings have proven adaptable to private sector challenges. LBGT helps participants understand the interplay between thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, emphasizing the identification and reframing of self-defeating beliefs.
Can you move the slides? We're stuck at slide 1.
It also promotes the cultivation of guiding virtues such as courage, resilience, and self-acceptance by better managed high-pressure work environments. The Copenhagen Burnout Inventory, CBI, is integrated as the primary screening and assessment tool. The CBI focuses on work-related burnout, emotional exhaustion, and personal accomplishments, making it practical for evaluating participants in private sector context. It measures the program's impact on reducing burnout and improving resilience. Characteristics of the LBGT workplace mental health group. Logic-based group therapy groups are structured to optimize impact throughout 5 key components. 1. Screening and assessment. Participants are evaluated using the Copenhagen Burnout Inventory, GBI, to measure work-related burnouts and emotional exhaustion before and after the program. Additionally, readiness for self-reflection and group engagement is assessed to ensure active participation. 2. Group composition. Group consists of 8 to 10 members who share a common interest in addressing workplace mental health challenges. This size supports rich, confidential interaction and collaborative problem solving. 3. Structure and format. The program runs over 6 weeks with 2-hour session in a closed group format. This consistent schedule fosters continuity and group cohesiveness with flexibility for online adaptability when necessary. 4. Goals and sub-goals. The primary objective is to reduce workplace anxiety, burnout, and depression by tackling their cognitive and emotional roots. Sub-goals include educating participants on emotional reasoning, identifying and refuting irrational beliefs, cultivating guiding virtues, and applying logical techniques through structure activities. 5. Lesson session design. Each session blends educational content, interactive exercises, and group discussion to promote reflection and practical application of logical strategies. Homework and structured reflection exercises reinforce this concept between sessions. Next, integrating the 6-step or logic-based therapy into group session. Building on the 6-step methods, LBGT is most impactful when integrated into structured group sessions. At its core, the framework guides participants from recognizing emotional reasoning to applying philosophical insights in daily life. The 6 steps include, as you all know, identifying emotional reasoning, checking for cardinal fallacies, refuting fallacies, identifying guiding virtues, developing uplifting philosophies, and applying philosophies in action. Each session integrates logical reasoning, philosophical reflection, and actionable strategies. This format fosters shared purpose and collective growth in addressing workplace challenges. Session flow and application. Session 1, building trust and clarifying goals. The initial session establishes a supportive group dynamic by introducing participants to the LBT framework and its relevance to workplace stressors. Trust is built through icebreakers and discussions. Activities include introducing to LBT 6 steps, sharing of general workplace stressors to identify common themes, establishing group goals and confidentiality agreements. Session 2 and 3, identifying emotional reasoning and refuting fallacies. This session focuses on uncovering emotional reasoning patterns and identifying fallacies. Participants engage in group discussion to challenge assumptions and gain new insights. Activities may include reflection exercises to identify self-defeating beliefs, group exercises to identify fallacies like overgeneralization or perfectionism, practice refuting fallacies using logical reasoning and peer input. Session 4-5, focus on guiding virtues and uplifting philosophies. Participants explore virtues like courage and resilience, tailoring them to workplace challenges. Philosophical frameworks are introduced to reinforce these virtues. Activities include group discussion to identify relevant virtues for workplace scenarios, introduction to philosophical insights that resonate with the participant values, role-playing exercises to practice embodying virtues in simulated situations. Section 6, the final section, applying cognitive behavioral plans and reinforcing insights. The final session helped participants operationalize their guiding virtues and philosophies through behavioral plans. Group feedback and mindfulness exercises ensure these plans are actionable and sustainable. Activities may include designing personalized action plans, group role playing to simulate real-life application of behavioral plans, reflection exercises to solidify insights and promote long-term resilience. The collaborative benefits are that the 6-step method enhances individual growth and group cohesion through shared understanding, collective problem solving, and mutual support. Participants benefit from diverse perspective, reducing feeling of isolation and reinforcing the application of guiding virtues and behavioral plans. Next step, a practical example using Stoic philosophy. So the next step is applying the 6-step method. 6-step method involves using Stoic philosophy as a central framework. Stoicism emphasizes controlling one's reactions and cultivating virtues like courage and resilience, principles that align closely with logic-based therapy. This approach demonstrates how participants can leverage Stoic insights to address workplace stressors, reframe setbacks, and develop actionable behavioral plans rooted in guiding virtues such as wisdom and emotional balance. Session 1, building trust and clarifying goals. In this session, participants are introduced to the Stoic and therapeutic principles of LBGT. The facilitator begins with an icebreaker where members share a brief, non-intrusive personal anecdote related to workplace stress. Participants share instances of losing motivation or experiencing self-doubt due to the overwhelming work expectations. A guiding question: what is the one workplace challenge you faced recently that you'd like to address here? Prompts reflection and builds empathy. Participants then explore the Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control, which distinguishes between what is within our power and what is not. As Epictetus reminds us, there are things which are within our power, and there are things which are beyond our power. Following this, the session focuses on setting personal objectives and establishes group norms such as active listening and confidentiality. An overview of the LBGT 6-step process is provided, and a brief reflective exercise encourages participants to analyze a recent stressful event, focusing on aspects they can control. The session concludes with a summary of the group goals and a homework assignment to observe and reflect on one workplace stressor during the week. Sessions 2 and 3, identifying and refuting fallacies in the workplace scenario. This session focuses on addressing irrational beliefs that contribute to workplace stress. Participants learn to recognize and refute self-defeating patterns in their emotional reasoning, fostering healthier perspectives and emotional resilience. The facilitator introduced emotional reasoning, emphasizing that beliefs, not external events, often trigger stress and anxiety. Drawing on Stoic principle, participants reflect on Epictetus' assertion: men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things. Using the logic-based therapy framework, participants analyze the reasoning patterns through practical syllogism, such as rule, if I miss a deadline, I am a failure. Report, I missed a deadline. Conclusion, therefore I am a failure. This exercise uncovers fallacies like demanding perfection and awfulizing. Participants collaboratively refute these fallacies using logical and philosophical reasoning, adopting a more balanced perspective by reframing scenarios and focusing on actionable solutions. Participants connect reasoning patterns to guiding virtues such as countering, awfulizing with courage, and demanding perfection with metaphysical security. Through group discussion, role-playing, and reflective exercises, they practice identifying fallacies in real time and leave with actionable insights, like journaling irrational beliefs and crafting logical refutation. Session 4-5, focusing on guiding virtue and uplifting philosophies. This session emphasized cultivating guiding virtues and adopting uplifting philosophies to inspire resilience, purpose, and well-being. Participants use Stoic philosophy to reframe workplace stressors and align actions with higher ideas. Guiding virtues counteract the destructive influence of cardinal fallacies. The facilitators introduce these virtues, aligning them with Stoic principles. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Participant reflects on virtues relevant to their workplace struggles, identifying those that promote balance and resilience. Exploring uplifting philosophies. Participants adopt uplifting philosophies for actionable change, drawing on Stoic texts, Seneca on courage. Adversity is a test of inner strength, not a reflection of failure. By reframing workplace challenges as opportunities to demonstrate fortitude, participants cultivate courage and resilience. Epictetus on self-control. Some things are up to us and some things are not. These insights support the virtue of metaphysical security, encouraging participants to focus on actions within their control rather than ruminating on external uncertainties. Marcus Aurelius on authenticity, living in alignment with one's true nature, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself, inspiring participants to lead with integrity and self-awareness, fostering genuine connections in the workplace. Practical applications. Participants engage in reflective exercises to internalize virtues and philosophies. 1. Identifying workplace challenges. Share specific stressors and the fallacies driving emotional responses. 2. Matching virtues to challenges. Identify appropriate virtues for each stressor. Example, courage for deadlines, metaphysical security for imperfections. 3. Adopting philosophies. Choose a Stoic insight that resonates with personal values. Role-play and group feedback. Participants reinforce insight role-playing, practicing virtues in simulated scenario, group feedback, support, and commitment to change. Homework and long-term integration. Participants craft personal affirmation tied to choosing virtues such as affirmation for courage. Challenges are opportunity to grow stronger, not barriers to my success, or affirmation for metaphysical security. I accept imperfection as part of life design and find strength in what I can control. They are encouraged to reflect on these affirmations daily and journal their experiences, promoting lasting integration of the insights and strategies developed during the session. Session 6, practicing rational and emotive techniques, mindfulness, and group feedback. The final session focuses on integrating guiding virtues and uplifting philosophies into workplace interaction through practical applications. Participants use rational emotive techniques, mindfulness practices, and group feedback to reinforce learning and promote sustainable transformation. Rational emotive techniques. Participant reflects on how guiding virtues shape their behavior and practice identifying cognitive distortions like catastrophizing or self-damnation. They apply logic refutation reinforced by Stoic principles such as Marcus Aurelius' reminder, you have power over your mind, not a side event. Realize this and you will find strength. mindfulness exercises. Mindfulness, particularly proso-care, stoic mindfulness, is central to these sessions. Participants engage in breathing exercises, reflect on controllable aspects of workplace stressors, and journal emotional responses. Marcus Aurelius advises, when you rise in the morning, think on what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. These techniques help participants apply guiding virtues intentionally. Role-playing and feedback. Role-playing exercises stimulate workplace scenario, such as delivering feedback or handling deadlines. Participants receive group feedback on embodying chosen virtues and applying philosophies. For example, a manager practicing metaphysical security learned to address setbacks calmly. Stress management strategies. Participants develop strategies for managing workplace stress, reframing emotional charge situation, and maintaining composure under pressure. Seneca reminder, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much time of it. Helps reframe stress perceptions and align energy with values. Actionable plans and reflection. As the program concludes, participants craft detailed action plans such as journaling emotional responses and reframing irrational thoughts. They incorporate affirmation inspiring by Stoic wisdom like Seneca, fire test gold, suffering test brave men, to affirm resilience. Group feedback reveals shifts in attitude, highlighting the transformative power of aligning action with virtues and philosophies. Participants leave equipped with tools for professional challenges and a renewed sense of agency and resilience. Seneca reminds us, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. These sessions help participants master their inner world, transforming stress into opportunity for growth and self-realization. Okay, as a conclusion, logic-based group therapy offers a robust framework for transforming self-defeating thoughts pattern into actionable strategy, effectively addressing workplace burnout, anxiety, and depression. Its adaptable six-step process fosters logical clarity, emotional resilience, and collaborative problem solving, benefiting from both individuals and the overall workplace culture. The integration of Stoic philosophy emphasizes virtues like courage and resilience, demonstrating how LBGT can guide practical change. Moreover, its design is versatile enough to incorporate insights from a range of cultural and philosophical traditions, including Eastern mindfulness practices, Confucius harmony, and Buddhist compassion. This flexibility makes LBGT particularly suited to today's diverse globalized business environment. By adopting LBGT, organizations can create supportive value-driven places where employees thrive both personally and professionally, ensuring sustained productivity and well-being. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angelo. I noticed that you didn't utilize your slides, and I gathered that you had a lot to say, and that might have taken up a good deal of time. I'm wondering if there's anything in your slides that you'd want to share.
Not really. The slides were just to okay, just to show the various points of which I would have covered. So it was just a short slide, just to, because I had a lot to say on the presentation, so I thought I needed to talk pretty fast
I
to
see
stay
that.
in the 20-25 minutes, which I hope I managed.
You did, indeed.
Oh, thank you. So I got a bit of a dry throat, but that's fine.
Great. I'm going to open up the floor now to discussion. Sam.
Thank you for that presentation, Angelo.
Thank you.
This is an interesting discussion. I'd like to just start off with asking you, what is burnout? Is it an emotion? Does it have symptoms? Can it be defined?
But usually, burnout is okay. It's something which is used very much nowadays in the business environment as the problem today is within the private sector, things are becoming faster and more chaotic, and it is very difficult to predict what because we have too many sudden changes and unexpected changes. And what happens is workers tend to overwork and try to do more than what is physically possible. And at some point, they reach what it is burnout, which is okay. It's a kind of stress, psychological stress and physical fatigue, where at the end, instead of being more productive, they're just going to slow down because it'd be very hard to keep up the pace in which they were driven in. Because the problem is today you are driven in this situation, you're not voluntarily doing it.
Okay. Let me think about a little bit about what you said. I'll turn over the question.
Yeah, I think an important concept there is this fatigue and the loss of interest and this sense of it's not worth anything. It's just a bleak outlook, on the work environment, so that it doesn't it's no longer something that you're doing out of vigor and vitality. It's just the loss of this energy, that makes the work life vitalized. And this is something that we find too in across professions. But which it leads me, to a question, Angelo. Being in the business world and the managerial sector for so many years, you must have seen a good deal of this kind of thing. And I'm wondering what is the most salient basis for burnout? What really, in your estimation, is something to really look out for in the managerial world, that can drive this ship of employees down into this dungeon of
It's what happens is I mean, we as human beings, we're all connected in every situation, but when we go into business worlds, we are all connected to the top level manager, to the middle manager, to the employees. You're all connected because you work for a company and go in the same direction. The problem is, I said before, things are getting more active and confused because of all the changes which have happened, especially in the recent years. And so from the managerial side, they tend to try to work to get to their objectives, and you have to get faster. You have to get faster to reach an objective because you don't know what's going to be like the following day. So the following day, everything could change because the outside environment, because of the things which are not in our control. That's the problem. So we try to the problem is you try to control things which are uncontrollable, but you need a certain level of trying to control things when you're in a business environment, because you need to generate a profit, and you need to keep the company afloat. You need to keep your competitors at bay, and you need to come out with a new product. You need to keep your customers happy and everything. So you have a multitude of things to think about, and so your mind has to move faster and faster than what the real world is actually moving. So this will create the fatigue, and so the fatigue will be stress and as a consequence burnout, which once you reach that, you will reach it without realizing it, because like I say, you're driven into it, and once you arrive there, it will take some time before you realize that you reach the burnout stage, and you're actually less productive, doing less. And the other thing is, like I said, as we're all interconnected in a business, so if the manager reaches burnout, then whatever he's managing is not going to be as clear and orderly as it's supposed to be. And this is going to have a really bad reflection on the people below you, which is the rest of so it's the middle management and the employees. So it's going to be like a domino effect where everybody going to find themselves in the same situation and overwhelmed by stressors, and which end up being lack of motivation, and then loss of hour work. Because if you if in a year 5 days work, 40 hours weekly work, you lose 1 hour a day, because you're not managing to do things because of stress and everything. That end up being 1 month loss
Jesus.
of work.
Mhm.
So it doesn't look like much, but at the end of the year, you're actually wasting 1 month of work of the company money, let's say, in this situation. And of course, the repercussion you have on yourself, which are not able to carry out the job properly. Don't know if this is clear.
Yeah, very, very clear.
Yeah. One thing is we have to remember is that, okay, we've all been affected by a lot of events that have taken place in the last 5-6 years. So from the COVID afterwards, but we take an effect as people, as individual people, we are affected, but also as individual people who go to work, then we are affected twice, because companies are affected by these same uncertainties. I can't remember the author's name, but the book was made famous in the business world, or about the black swan, which is actually taken from inductive philosophy. And the black swan effect is that when something unexpected, which is really, really unexpected, happens, then it's going to create real chaos, a real shock. And we had COVID, we had some wars which were not expected. Now one of the things which is happening again, which is leaving all the business world watching, is President Trump's election, because we really don't know what he's going to do. So if he's going to drop Europe or wherever, then all our businesses will have an effect, and of course there will be a repercussion also on American jobs and globally. So these are shocking effects, which internal to business, we're all going to have to react to, and that's why I think logic-based group therapy could be something very helpful as a group therapy within organizations, maybe to help people see things clearly, and sometimes letting go of things before they reach burnout, because that's the main thing, or that is the purpose of my paper.
Right. So as a prophylactic to burnout, trying to deal with it before it happens, rather than to deal with employees after they feel this pressure. So how would the structure of these workshops or meetings occur? How would you set them up? How would that work within the corporate structure?
Yeah, I think probably I mean, like I mentioned, the structure. I mean, I never tested or carried out one of these. So mine is a theory which I believe it would work because of the nature and the structure of a logic-based group therapy. But I think I organized it in six different sessions, because to go beyond that, it could be the problem with businesses is, oh, you don't want to give too much time doing something else. So 6 weeks would probably need to be a limit. And the main thing would be the introduction. I think the introductory session would be the one where people are made aware of what you're actually trying to achieve, because within a business environment, even though it's a group of people, mentally they all think they are alone in their stress, alone in their problems, alone in their being overwhelmed by work, deadlines, targets, whatever. Instead, they're all in the same, let's say they're all on the same boat. But this is a chance, an occasion where they can share that, without going too much in depth, because then you don't want to overexpose people saying, but it's his fault because he's not doing his job, so I've got a problem after. So it needs to be more constructive. So I think that the first session would be the most important. I mean, I would. This is interesting because I don't know if you know about the Abilene paradox, which is used a lot in business case studies. I think it was from a writing on the Harvard Business Review in the late 1980s. And it's about this family having a gathering somewhere in Texas, and they're all playing dominoes. Then one of the guys' members, and it's a really, really hot day, says, oh, why don't we go to Abilene for dinner? And somebody else said, oh, well, that would be a good idea. So all the other members of the family will go and saying, yeah, that's a good idea, that's a good idea. Then they all go, and it's about 60 or 80 miles traveling, and it's a really, really hot, dry day and very uncomfortable. So they get there, they come back. Then the one who proposed it says, no, actually, one of the wife of the person who proposed it says, it was really a bad idea because it was very uncomfortable. In the sense, we should have stayed at home. But it seemed that everybody else wanted to go. Because as soon as she says that, the other people come up and say, oh, yes, I didn't really want to go, but I thought you all wanted to go. And the one who proposed it said, but I just proposed it because I didn't know what to say. And then when you all were so enthusiastic in saying, let's go to Abilene, I thought, well, I think that then is a good idea. The problem was a missing communication. If we all communicated straight away and they said to each other, let's not go to Abilene, it's a really bad idea because it's too hot. We'll be driving in a packed car, get there, be very uncomfortable for 1 hour drive, etc. Staying at home, keep on playing domino would be a better idea, but nobody communicated. The same is within the business group. So the first session would be to get people together, and through asking questions, see where they all want to go and what is the common problem, because they all will have common problem. They're just not talking to each other. There's a lack of communication, and from there, then you move on to the rest of the session. Because in the first session, then you get all the emotive problems, which you get from the first session, first individual session of a LBT, logic-based therapy. So you just get it in a group level.
Mhm.
I don't know if this makes sense.
Very much so. Other questions?
I would like to ask, this is just more of an extension to what Dr. Cohen asked. How do you think, what could be the interval of these kind of sessions for the employee? So 6 sessions, as you said, but would it be repeated at any particular interval, or how will you go about it?
But I think the best way to do it is to do it 6 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 sessions, more or less 2 hours. You need at least 2 hours per session, because if you got a group of 8, 10 people, then to cover everything, that would be the best way, I think. And do it once each week, because that would give you a chance to the employees to finish the session, go at home, and get some do some work tasks, some homework, let's say. So the journaling, which I repeated quite often, which I think is a good thing, because by writing the journaling, I mean, for example, in the Stoic example about what is in your control, what is not in your control, which also reckons with the metaphysical security and perfectionism, people can check what during the week, during the working week, so what time of work, how did you react to something which was not, ultimately was not under your control? So would have you reacted better? So you get all these work tasks to get during the week, so that when you come back the following week, you can have a whole session discussing these, so exploring, each person experience. And we have to remember that when an employee comes the following session and reads the part of his journal where he had he had an experience where something was not in his or her was anxious or whatever, then the conversation is within the same company. So other people will understand that maybe they are the same reaction to a similar thing within the same organization. So you share experience, and you also, for employees, is also a way to work together, to share things, share problems, and try to overcome them together. So that they don't end up like the Abbey Lane people who didn't communicate and all ended up in Abbey Lane, and it was a disaster. So one way to stop anxiety problems with the company is to talk to each other, communicate, and this would be a good place to do so. When you come there to the diffusing fallacies, so it will not just be a fallacy for one, a fallacy for most of the people there, because most of the time in companies you end up with paradigms. The paradigm is the method and organization of the production and system of the company is the one that it's part of the history and becomes the culture of the company. And sometimes this culture becomes something unchangeable, and people don't think it can be changed. This is the one way to change the culture, when you break the paradigm by diffusing fallacies, because the culture might be full of fallacies, but you don't know it, because you always accepted that that's the way things are always being done, and it will always be done in the company. So I think, I don't know if this answers your question, but I think it'll improve employees in the overall company, because the point is not just to improve the employees, but it's improve the employees, their performance and their happiness within the company, so that the whole company would benefit. Because if I go to a company and say, okay, I'm going to offer you, I propose you the 6 weeks logic group-based therapy, the company would have to also say, yeah, well, what's in it for me? But what's in it for you is to have some employees which are more loyal, more understanding, less stressed, more productive, because that's a problem from the data which I showed I don't know if it showed up in the slides. Yeah, sorry, but what one of the researchers says that you're losing about $1 billion of US dollars globally on stress at work. So companies are losing a lot because of employees' unhappiness and stress.
Thank you.
Any other? We've got about 3 minutes left. Any questions that you have for Angelo? Any comments? Any insights? Since this is a relative, it's an unexplored area. We haven't done it yet in business to use logic-based group therapy in a business context. One thing that kind of excites me is the possibility of actually trying it out. And I know Dr. Himani, you've thought about this kind of stuff too. I'm wondering if you guys might want to talk to each other about how this could actually be navigated, maybe in the Indian context. He's in Italy.
Yeah, I've been a lot to India, not with this job. My previous job for 16 years, I was a year to India. So I understand some of the Indian culture. So yeah, what I'm saying is also through the sessions we had, there was a lot of people from India which made the presentation and integrated the Bhagavad Gita or other Indian philosophies I mean, I use Stoicism just for practicality and just because Stoicism is something which in the last 10 years has been very, very much used and abused in the business world with many books written. So I use Stoicism just for that. But any philosophy can be used. And of course, Indian philosophy would probably cater better for management or employees within the Indian context and also the Indian culture. Well, just one thing I wanted to add, probably if I got another 1 or 2 minutes, is when I talk about stress, burnout, and all these anxiety, whatever, inside the business world, it is because I experienced on my own skin. And it's probably, actually, it's not probably, it is because of philosophy that I managed now in the last few years to navigate without getting stressed, without getting angry, without all the problems which I explained within work. I have a thing which I do every Monday. When I go to work, I go to the office where all the technical people are, and Monday is the worst day. Friday, the happy day. Monday is the worst day. So I turn things around. I go into the office, I look at everybody, and I will just open my arms and say, Happy Monday. Big smile, Happy Monday. And I do that every Monday, and I've been doing that for over a year. And what happens is you just get real good smiles on their faces because Monday is inevitable. So if you don't go to work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will not follow. So, but people look forward to the Friday because Friday is the end of the week. So we are all happy and relaxed on the Friday. Let's start being happy and relaxed on the Monday. As it is inevitable, at least try to be happy about it because this is something under our control. To be happy in the way we approach Mondays.
Well, thank you so much for this presentation. It was marvelous.